Do you feel cramped in your space and that it's just too small to create a home that you love? Well, stick with me because there's one thing I know, and it's small space living. And you guys have been asking, and I have got my best tips to how to live small, but how to live beautifully. My first tip is you want to lighten and brighten. So when I say lighten and brighten, really I do mean paint color. I always say paint it one color in a small space, and ideally I think go with something light and bright. I'm partial to whites. I think it works really well in small spaces, and it just makes it feel open and cohesive. My second tip in small spaces is you want to think vertically. You really want to maximize every inch of your space, and since there's not maybe a lot of square footage, you want to go up. So some ideas with that, one of my favorite is adding bookshelves or picture ledges that go up. You can put them above your bed, you can put them above your couch, you can put them in a dining room, den, really anywhere. You want to maximize that vertical space. This is where you can display items like books, some of your treasures that you may have out. You can put boxes there, but think vertically and think of adding storage in a stylish and unique way. My third tip in your small space is double duty furniture. So some examples of that are, there's some great coffee tables out on the market now that work really well as a coffee table, but they've also got storage underneath. There's some beds on the market that also have, you can lift up and there's a ton of storage, or pull out drawers. Or just think of things that you can use double duty, like say poofs are a great thing. We say every room needs a poof, and the reason they work in small spaces is you can put a tray on them and they could double as a coffee table. They could be a footstool. They can be an extra seat when you have guests over. So think of items you can move around your house. It might even be something as simple as a small table that you use as a dining table, but during the day use as a desk. So think of, how can I use this piece of furniture more than just its original duty? My fourth tip is choose things that don't take up a lot of visual space. So here's something to remember. If you remember any tip here, remember this. A lot of contrast in a room makes it feel smaller. The less contrast in a room makes it feel bigger. So what I mean by visual space is choosing items like maybe it's a glass or plexiglass coffee table that doesn't, you can just see through it, so it doesn't take up visual space. Also, they make chairs like this now that are either in the white or see-through. It's called a ghost chair that you don't see, and again, it doesn't take up that visual space. So also stick within that same color palette as well. Again, creating more contrast, adding more opposites to things, or more color. As much as I love color, it does make the space feel smaller. And last but not least, there are two questions I want you to ask yourself with every single item you bring in your space. One, is it functional? How is this item functioning for me in this space? The second thing I want you to ask yourself is, does this item bring me joy? You know, if it's not functional, that's okay. You can still bring it in a small space as long as you love it and it brings you joy. And ideally, if you can find items that are functional and that bring you joy, you are gonna love your small space. So I know I've given you these tips, and I hope it inspires you to get decorating your small space, but I also wanted to help you out a little further, so I've created a shopping guide of some of my personal favorite places to shop and what I love there, and all the links, and you can link to it below this video. So if you like this video, I'd love it if you could like it. Make sure you subscribe, and I'd love it if you could share it with your family and friends. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.